Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good in our community. And we're honored to be joined by Karin Conlee, the co-founder and executive director of Race for Reconciliation. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. Thank you so much for having me on.
So before we talk about the race date and everything going on, let's back up and give us a little bit of history in terms of what led you to launch the organization, what led you to bring all this to fruition.
Well, honestly, as someone who has spent 25 years in Memphis, we just have a huge heart for this city. And unfortunately, it's, and you guys know this in the work that you're doing, there's just been some hurdles that the city has never fully overcome, and especially in this area of racism. And so our heart really is to say, okay, how do we become the most positive unifying voice in America, really, not just Memphis, but because our heart is Memphis and the 901, how do we bring that message and how do we bring the people together that all have good intentions, that all want to move forward, but maybe don't know how to enter this space? And so in that way, we thought it's not just creating an event, but it's also creating that first step that then can lead to a next step. And so as we've created this, we've really designed it so that people that have a heart for Memphis moving forward, regardless of what their history or background is, can come together and realize that the narrative that you hear out there all the time is not necessarily the accurate narrative, that Memphians have a heart to unite and there's work to do, but that we can do it and that together we can make a difference. So that's really kind of the heart behind it.
And I like the saying that you kind of put out there is healing from the past, honor in the present, hope for the future. And to your point, there is an event specific that is an opportunity, obviously, for fundraising, for raising awareness for organizations, to kind of get people engaged, to galvanize. But there's also, too, a 365, 24/7 opportunity that carries with it to really provide the hope and the healing and the forward momentum for our community. Talk about some of those goals.
Well, what we have said is that, for people in Memphis that want to make a difference, we have some incredible nonprofits in the city of Memphis that are in the trenches every day doing incredible work. And so as an organization for Race for Reconciliation, what we've said is we want to be a gift to this city. We specifically are starting our event on MLK Day and want to complement it with what the Civil Rights Museum does, what the Grizzlies does, but to really provide that family-friendly opportunity for everybody to come together. But then, like you said, the 365, we have identified three primary areas: literacy tutoring, vocational training, and leadership development. And said those are areas that have been greatly impacted by the history of racism in Memphis. There are economic gaps, there are education gaps that do still exist today. And so instead of us trying to create another organization to address those things, how do we highlight those people already doing excellent work? How do we add resources so that the money that's raised from our event will go to those organizations already seeing progress, already making a difference, and give them the extra resources that they need? But also, even beyond that, because this is really kind of low-hanging fruit, it's not a huge commitment. It's, hey, will you take 2 hours at noon on a day off for many people for MLK Day and come downtown? But then beyond that, there are ways. You might not be able to change the world, but what if you decided to go work with our literacy partner and volunteer an hour and a half a week during the school year and help do some literacy tutoring? What if you paired with some of our others and you became a mentor? And it gives us an opportunity to all just do our part in the areas that what feels easy to me is maybe hard to someone else, that not each individual nonprofit is going to attract everybody's interest, but in that variety that you can go, oh, I could make a difference there. And that's where we see the 365 impact in Memphis. And then also to have an avenue where, for those that want to have that kind of next level conversation, if we really are going to heal and not just have a Band-Aid or not just have a photo op, but really move forward as a city, then that happens on a relational level. And so for us to provide those opportunities for those kind of meaningful conversations to happen.
I like the fact that you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. As you mentioned, you're trying to get the wheel spinning faster. And so
Right.
working with all the different entities, the nonprofits, the social impact organizations, to provide that fuel to the fire, that's one piece that's really powerful. And the other one that you're talking about is when you start bringing people together and their worlds collide. When you talk about anything that's around racism, sadly, isolation, a lot of that is because you are removed. They're a number. They're not someone that you know well. And so you can marginalize them. When you bring them together, though, and the worlds collide and you start building a relationship like you're talking about, all of a sudden now you realize, oh, wait a second, we are way more similar than we are different. And this is someone that I really enjoy and want to get to know and spend time with. And those relationships are the piece, the fabric that really brings our community together. And I feel like that's the part, breaking down the silos is so important to bringing our community together, to understand that we're all in this together, especially in an era during a pandemic. And so anyway, I just think there's a lot of powerful pieces of what you're doing to galvanize the community, but also to get that wheel spinning a lot faster. Talk about the actual event, because as you mentioned, there is an actual event on MLK Day. And so talk about the details of the actual Race for Reconciliation.
Well, we have a desire to see 5,000 Memphians downtown at AutoZone Park at noon on MLK Day. That's Monday, January 17th. And so our goal is to say, okay, if we can create that picture of unity, that it is a catalyst for change. One of the taglines that we have, and we've got a line of merch that we want to get that the vibe and the heart of people out there saying, okay, Memphis, we are becoming the most united city in America. Now, we're not there yet. We know that. But if you don't take that first step forward, you never will be. And so that's the event. It's down there. It's family friendly. You don't have to be a runner. It's a 5K and a 1 mile walk or run. And so we want families to come downtown. We want them to be a part of this as we start at AutoZone Park and are able to be near the Lorraine Motel and some of the significant landmarks in the city of Memphis. It just gives us an opportunity to create a new narrative and to see that visual picture of us coming together as a city, to realize, like you said, in the isolation, I'm not alone. And there are a lot of people that are wanting to move forward. We always hear the extremes. We hear the loudest voices are the extremes. And then it causes people to think, man, the whole world is evil and we'll never overcome this problem. But when we realize, no, that's not the case, then we're able to take those steps forward. So we would love, if we can get 20,000 people downtown for the St. Jude, we can get 5,000 people who care about our city and say, I want the future of Memphis to be as bright as it's ever been before. And that's who we are as a city. And so I'm encouraged and excited to see everybody come out. And you know what, in Memphis, it might be 60 degrees or it might be 25, but MLK Day is a big deal. It's a holiday, and we wanted to create an event worth that holiday and worth becoming really a part of the fabric of Memphis for years to come.
what are the details in terms of registration, obviously sponsorship for companies? What are some of those details?
Yes. So you can go to r4r.one. It's the letter R, the number 4, the letter R.one. You can register there. You can find out all about us. We definitely are wanting sponsors and wanting businesses. We really believe in a full city approach to solve any problem. It's not going to be done just by government or just by business or just by nonprofits or just by the faith community. It requires all of us to come together. And so we've been absolutely fortunate to have some fantastic people. The branding and all the things that we have done have been done by a gentleman that worked at Nike and did 15 years of Tiger Woods line. So we've got a very high quality product that any business or any nonprofit that wants to help us, I think would be very proud to represent R4R. But I would say this, the most important thing, if we raise a lot of money this year, but we don't have people, we're not accomplishing our goal. And so I would just say we need money to get the word out, and there's definitely some advantages to having resources. But as we have launched this, every business leader and every educational institution that I've gone to, I've said, if I had to make a pick between money and people, what I really want is for leaders to come to the event and to bring their people. Because if we get 5,000 down there the first year, we will have untold opportunities from every year forward. And in a very real sense, we have several cities across the country that we have said, we will get to you, and we want to bring this message of healing, of honor and hope to the country. But our home and our heart is the 901. And so we really want the 901 to show up and to see that picture of all of us from every ethnic background, every race to come together. And that will propel this message and the opportunity for us to fund the great work that's being done in Memphis already. So sponsorships, you can also do scholarships so that there are other people that can participate that don't have that discretionary income. We've got the National Civil Rights Museum that's going to be partnering with us as one of our city partners. Arise to Read is our literacy partner. So there's some really quality organizations in the city of Memphis that will benefit. And so the more people we get out, the more we're able to take those dollars and point them to those great organizations.
You have a couple of my friends on your leadership team, Randy Odom and Preston Butts Jr., and two amazing, men and leaders. And talk about kind of that side of using the relationships to make sure, like you said, that the word gets out, that people are able to participate, that collaborators are brought to the table. So how can we as the community kind of help galvanize and lift and bring more people out?
Well, that's a fantastic question. And I think, Jeremy, the place that cityCURRENT and yourself and all of your leaders, what you have in terms of relational equity with people matters. And so I think the thing that I have found in this work is that there's a lot of people with good intentions. And the people that you just mentioned on my board, what I love about them and what I love about the leaders that represent cityCURRENT is that you move beyond good intentions. And so I think that really the biggest thing is for those leaders to actively engage and use their influence to say, hey, I'm going to go. I'm going to buy a block of tickets for my employees to go. I'm going to buy, whether it's a diversity and inclusion initiative, whether it's a wellness initiative, whether it's just we're a part of the 901 and we care. There are so many different ways that an organization can be involved. But to me, the most important thing is someone saying, hey, I'm going, follow me. And that's what being a leader is. People will follow you as a leader. And so if it's just posted somewhere, it's just in an email, that's very different than someone saying, no, I care about the city and I'm going to be down there. And as my employees or as my customers, I want you to care and come alongside with me and go. So that would be a huge, that will make a difference for this city. And that's what we want to do.
You've already mentioned it, but go ahead and mention it again. Website, phone number, social media, where all would you direct us to go and learn more and get involved?
Absolutely. So the website is r4r.one, R, the number 4, r.one. And then you can find us at R4R Races on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow along there with us, share it on your social media. Unapologetically, this is a new initiative. This is the inaugural year. If you're ever going to participate, this is the year to participate and to say, no, I care about Memphis. I want to make a difference. And you've got so many fantastic organizations that are doing their part in the city. And so for us to come together and have the support of those organizations really is going to be what lifts the tide. A rising tide, helps all boats. And so together we can really see the best days for Memphis ahead.
Well, absolutely love what you're doing. Karin, thank you for you and your amazing team. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Anybody wants to reach out to me directly, Conlee at r4r.one. Love to field any questions and love what you guys are doing. Thanks for making a difference yourself.